NFL Network Now update is presented by Verizon. A day of back-and-forth communication between the league and players. Players on the NFL Executive Committee first responded to the letter they received from Commissioner Roger Goodell back on Thursday. In 4 pages, the players disputed a number of Goodell's points, explained why decertification was a last resort, and told the NFL to contact the class counsel in the antitrust suit to continue discussions. Then, the league's chief negotiator, Jeff Pash, issued a response to the players' letter saying, quote, "We are pleased now to have received a reply to the comprehensive proposal that we made 8 days ago. Points made in the players' letter are precisely the kind of points that collective bargaining is intended to address. This letter again proves that the most sensible step for everyone is to get back to bargaining," end quote. Log on to NFL.com for the very latest. This NFL Network Now update was presented to you by Verizon.
I'm here to announce that we traded Donald McNabb with the Washington Redskins. Kevin Cobb will be the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles.
He is running. He fumbles the ball as he's hit.
Kevin Cobb slowed to get up. Big, amazing, absolutely amazing. Michael Vick will be the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles.
He is slow getting up.
So just that quick, Kevin Cobb's going to be in the game.
No, he's going to go out and play. I feel like I can go out and take a shot if I have to.
And he is going to walk in for a touchdown. He's out.
This is Miracle in the Meadowlands, number 2.
The Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles to finish off Wild Card Weekend. Pump fakes. Now airs it out. Left side into the end zone. Intercepted. And there is your Wild Card dagger.
They did have some great moments in 2010 coming up the NFC East Division, crown the Eagles. And a look right now at their first-round selections over the past 5 years. As you can see, just 3 since 2006. The most recent DN, Brandon Graham, out of Michigan a season ago. With the 23rd overall pick in this year's draft, it is time to put the Philadelphia Eagles on the clock. To do so, we have the pleasure of welcoming in Ashley Fox. She is a columnist from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Great to have you with us, Ashley. Read a few of your articles. We're going to start off with Kevin Cobb. In a normal year, let's just say that he might be a terrific bargaining tool. Where do you see the focus in Kevin Cobb with this team?
Well, you're right. If this was a normal year, I think the Eagles' phone would be ringing off the hook with offers for Kevin Cobb. You know, he was the starter going into last season and then got benched after Michael Vick came in and played as well as he did. And Kevin took the high road and was the good teammate. But as soon as the season was over, he said, look, I've been on the bench for 4 years. I want to be a starter. I feel like I deserve it. And if I'm going to be the backup, I don't want to come back here. And, you know, the Eagles have some serious needs at cornerback and offensive line, and there are plenty of teams in the league that need a good quality starting quarterback. And Kevin Cobb would bring that to them. And so I think, you know, they would take a first-round pick. It would give them an opportunity to move up in the draft. And he would bring them value. And, you know, unfortunately for them, if there's not a deal worked out before the draft, he's going to be here.
And you mentioned the offensive line and the style that Michael Vick plays, Ashley. Obviously, he was sacked, I think, 34 times last season, which is the 5th most in the National Football League. How do they address that position at the O-line, particularly on the right side?
Well, the Eagles' philosophy under Andy Reid has been to build through the draft from the inside out. And while they've taken 3 defensive linemen in the last 6 years, they have not taken an offensive lineman since 2004 when they selected Shawn Andrews out of Arkansas. I think this will be the year where you see them take an offensive lineman, and I think Wisconsin tackle Gabe Karimi would be a good choice, good value at 23. You know, he started 49 games for the Badgers over 4 years and can play either side. He was a left tackle at Wisconsin, but he can play right tackle, and right tackle for the Eagles is a very valuable position.
Well, let's just say for a second that Mr. Karimi is not available. Ashley, you mentioned cornerback. Who have you heard? Like, what would be a player that they're talking about in Philadelphia?
Well, at 23, you know, the top corners will be gone by then. So they're going to have to, if they use that pick for a corner, they would have to take somewhat of a chance on a guy. And if you look at Miami cornerback DeMarcus Van Dyke,
here's a guy who ran a 4.2840 at the combine. It was the fastest time this year. It was the third fastest time since 2000. And speed will bring you respect and will get you looks. The Eagles need help opposite Asante Samuel, and he could be an option. Well, it will certainly be interesting mostly to see what happens with Kevin Cobb. Ashley Fox, we appreciate your time. A columnist from the Philly Inquirer, and we'll look forward to more of your great articles. For more now on the Eagles, we toss it over to Scott, Michael, and Baldy.
All right, guys, let's pick it up right there. The Eagles, Baldy, let's start with you. You got the birds in your backyard, basically. Where does Philadelphia go?
Well, I mean, defensively last year, they were atrocious. I mean, you know, they won the division in the last 8 minutes against the Giants in Week 15, but the Giants already had a 31 spot on the board after 3 quarters in that game. And when Asante Samuel went down, I mean, they were the worst team in the red zone all year. Teams scored 98% of the time once they got inside the 20-yard line, and that was good enough to get their defensive coordinator fired and their staff wiped out. They changed it, but I would go back to what Ashley said. When you bench your right tackle in a playoff game, the way they benched Winston Justice, to me that screams loud to say, come help us, come give us some help. The thing I like about Gabe Carimi, and I think he'll be there at 23, is he reminds me of John Runyon. And they haven't had a presence on their offensive line the way John was. A tough guy where he was basically rattled by nothing. Went out there, played every single Sunday. Just the same, steady. That's what they need. I think Carimi could bring that to that offensive line. I think the new offensive line coach, Howard Mudd, would be very happy with that selection.
Yeah, you mentioned Howard Mudd, Baldy, and I think you're going to see a shift in their philosophy in terms of what style of offensive lineman. Carimi would fit that. Howard Mudd likes tall, linear offensive linemen, not the wide hip guys. So I think there's going to be a change of philosophy. They'll go offensive line. I do think corner is going to be handled eventually when we get to free agency. I wouldn't be shocked if they were all in on Nnamdi Asomugha of the Raiders because he would fit what they want to do. But I think offensive line, and then as you talked about, defensive line, especially tackle, Jim Washburn there is something they need to correct. So the Eagles have a lot of areas they can cover.
Guys, how about the fact of continuity in the Philadelphia draft room with Jeff Fisher's departure from Tennessee, Andy Reid, now, you know, one of the obviously the deans of NFL coaching. What does that do for a team, even with the defensive turnover in the staff that they've had, to have the decision makers still be the same guy for all these years?
Well, I mean, Andy Reid runs that draft. I mean, you know, Howie Roseman is there, and he's doing a lot of the legwork and the homework. But Andy's making the pick. Don't make any mistake about this. He's in charge of the draft, and Andy likes big guys. He likes building through the trenches. I mean, they moved up from 24 to 13 to take Brandon Graham last year. He was hurt, didn't finish the season on the active roster. But with this defensive end crop out there, I could see the Eagles making a move at one of these elite pass rushers right now to bolster the back end of their defense by taking a pass rush.
Well, no matter which way they go, you mentioned Brandon Graham. Even if you pick a good player, Graham was a starter. Nate Allen, their second pick, was a starter. Both those guys ended the year with a knee injury, so you still got to catch some breaks, even if you find the guy that you want. All right, well, the Chiefs came out of nowhere to win the AFC West last season. Friday on Path to the Draft, we put Todd Haley's team on the clock with the 21st overall pick. Much more on our top story ahead. Blaine Gabbert's performance at Missouri's Pro Day. Mike Mayock goes one-on-one with the man who could be number one.
Supposed to rain tomorrow. Probably can't paint the garage.
Really? Like I haven't seen that movie. I got this amazing meal at McDonald's Dollar Menu. The beefy McDouble, the crispy McChicken. Everything's so good and just $1 each. I'm smart enough to do all that, so my turn.
Can't paint, huh? Guess we'll just have to go look at window treatments.
Too easy. McDonald's Dollar Menu. The simple joy of being smart.
So at our company, we pay about the same, even though I'm a great driver and he's not so much.
Well, for a driver like you, I would recommend our new Snapshot discount. This little baby keeps track of your great driving habits so you can save money.
Amazing.
It's like an extra bonus savings.
He's my ride home.
How much can the Snapshot discount save you? Call her quick today.
I vow to start, even when it's 5 a.m. and 10 below. I vow to keep all 4 wheels moving, and to get us out of
Marcel Darius is in studio and will tell us how he's preparing for the draft. Plus, Commissioner Robbie Goodell joins us to talk draft and the labor dispute tonight at 7 Eastern.
Count down the NFL's top 10s, the greatest players, best teams, and most unbelievable moments. Break down everything in the world of football. The NFL's top 10 biggest upsets, tomorrow at 7, only on NFL Network.
Finally, NFL women's apparel fit for you. Get it at select retailers and NFLshop.com. You want the NFL? Go to the NFL.
All across America, the NFL and United Way are inspiring kids to get healthy and more active. Join the Play 60 movement. Pledge to Play 60 today at liveunited.org.